Well, hey everybody, welcome back. This video is a long time coming because my vacation timed out to where this arrived, and then there was some chaos and then vacation. But I'm back with a review on the Scale Trains Tier 4 GEVO. Now this is the Spirit of Ravenna. We've looked at this before, but there's some improvements that were recently added, and they've got these back out into the hobby shops and on their shelves, so we'll take a look at these now. So scaletrains.com, obviously, forgot to mention that. This is a CSX locomotive unboxing. You have an operator's manual, trifold, goes over functions, maintenance, and even installing DCC, but this is DCC and equipped out of the box. So out comes the Spirit of Ravenna CSX Tier 4 GEVO locomotive. Now, Scale Trains, they can be a little tricky. They always trick me with these truck immobilizers because they are the same color as the truck, but you want to make sure you take those off or you may end up with a locomotive that's on its side. We'll take a look at what you get starting next. Okay, let's get started with a look of the Tier 4 GEVO from Scale Trains. So, this is another release of the Tier 4 GEVO. You've got ditch lights above the anti-climber here, coupler cut lever, silver-tipped MU hoses, and the brake line hose. Scaletrains.com couplers, CSX, boxcar logo on the front, separately applied grabs. Sand filler hatches up top are represented here, and grab irons all on the nose as well. You have a cab nose door with a window. There's very finely detailed etched metal windshield wipers. The number boards are there as well. The roof here has a PTC antenna. It may just be out of view. There we go. And anti-skid tape on that as well. Spirit of Ravenna is on the front. That's a commemorative locomotive for CSX. 3440. You see the FRA mandated reflective striping there along the bottom edge. The nice truck detail. The 3 fan grills right here for dynamic brake fans. More separately applied grabs behind that. There's also very small and detailed warning stickers all over this locomotive. Another vent here right in front of the CSX logo. The handrails seem to be pretty straight. CSX boxcar logo is good. You got fuel tank detail including the sight glass there. And as we go towards the back where the radiator fan section is, the radiator grill section, there you see the painted X bracing. That's one of the improvements on this run. It's more predominant. You can see it better through that see-through grill in the back, right in front of the brake wheel here. So there's also jacking pads right here. Truck brake chain detail here where you can also easily remove the shell. The chain is separated from here to here, so the shell comes off and this portion stays on. That portion stays with the truck. As we go to the back, you're going to see kind of that pronounced radiator housing. You're also going to see LED lights for the rear lights, sand filler hatch, CSX boxcar logo, more handrails there, and an MU hose that's connected right here to 2 receptacles, spur knuckle couplers, accessory hoses, and brake line detail there. You can also see the X bracing on that side. Exhaust on this is not flat, it's angled exhaust. 2 different versions of the Tier 4 had a flat exhaust where the housing was all the way around the locomotive build, and this one is slanted, so you can see that detail there, spotting feature of the locomotive. You also see yellow paint above each stair, kind of helps the crew identify that they need to go up the stairs, and they can help see the stairs in low light situations. There's also walkway tread A little hard to see on video, but it is there. You'll have to trust me on that one. Nicely tinted cab windows. And you've got the sunshade on here as well. And more warning labels and such on that side. So that brings us back to the front and kind of an overall 360 of the locomotive. You'll see some of the features that I may have missed as you pick out things that you like, but overall a good representation of the real thing. Okay, Spirit of Ravenna. Gonna fire it up. ESU decoders are fired up with F8. Before I do that, I'm gonna make sure some of the other functions are off. Okay, there's the extended kind of a startup. It's not necessarily extended startup, but it takes a while. F0 is your headlight. You can see that there. We'll show lighting in more detail later. F1 bell. Two is horn, and the bell, I believe, sounds with the horn. Okay, as you can see, the ditch lights weren't on with that, but I just turned them on. So we do have oscillating ditch lights on this as well. F3's coupler crash. F4's dynamic brake, which you have to move the locomotive to here, really. I don't know if you could pick up on the sounds on that or not. There it goes. You hear it a little better there. Here's the whine of the dynamic brakes. F5's DPU mode lighting, and all that means is the rear light is lit if you're going to use this on the back of a train while you're going forward. F6 is the ditch lights, which I showed. F7 is other lighting effects, which I don't believe was on this really. So we went over F8. There's also things like drive hold, F9, where I press F9 and then I start revving up the throttle, moving up the throttle. Well, the prime mover responds, the sounds do, but the locomotive doesn't. And then as soon as I release F9, that locomotive is going to take off at the whatever throttle level I have it at, kind of simulating taking the slack out of trains, etc. So I just released F9 there, and you see it's on its way to 60-some speed steps, which I just turned it way down. So there's some of the functions of the locomotive. You can check out my full review on this by searching Tier 4 scale trains in my search bar on my videos. So now that we've gone over that, let's talk about some improvements of the locomotive. And that's lighting. We already talked about the X brace in the back on the Tier 4 radiator housing area. So let's go ahead and talk about the lighting real quick and dim things down. So as you can see there, the walkway lighting is much improved. It's brighter. Looks really good. We talked about the oscillating ditch lights, but I'll show you that again. And then you can also see right up front here, in between the ditch lights, that right there at the tip of my pointer is the walkway light for the front. Now we got it turned around so you can see the backside. F5 is the DPU mode. That means the rear light goes on, and even as I've got this throttle in forward and the locomotive is poised to move forward, that DPU light is going to be in the back lit. So that just allows it to move in DPU mode. Also, you don't have to kill the lights completely, but you do have ground effect lights that you can see right there to the left of your screen. And you can see them with the light on, but I couldn't capture it with the camera on as well. So I did want to go ahead and kill the lights so you could see that. So you'll be looking, again, right up here at ground lights. And it basically just helps the crew see what's going on in dark situations, because sometimes they can't tell if they're moving or what. Okay, this does have a capacitor in it that lasts a couple seconds, but I couldn't get it turned around enough to show you the number board lights that I should have showed you at the beginning on the front. But there are the ditch lights, headlight, and number board lights. And the number board lights are nicely done. There's no bleed through or anything. Very realistic color temperature, light intensity, and see-through for those numbers. So pretty good there. Really nice locomotive. I think that's going to about wrap up this video. The full testing on this model can be found on the original review. I'll leave you with a little run-by of this, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel.